we don't know. But we can still...
Welcome to Land Cloud Adventures. Now, in the last couple years, we've spent a lot of time in the Sedona area, so we're going to make some content for you, and this one specifically covers some of the historic sites very close to the Sedona area. This includes the very well-known Montezumas Castle that you always see pictures of, but also Montezumas Well, Tuzigoot National Monument, which is a freestanding Pueblo dwelling and village, as well as very back in the forest land, Hananki Heritage Site. First and foremost, your America the Beautiful Pass gets you into the national monument locations in this video. The sites covered in this video were inhabited by the Sinagua people between approximately 1050 and 1400 AD. Now, they left, and they're not really sure why. It's kind of a mystery. They could have been kind of absorbed into other tribes, or for scarcity of resources, left the area. They're not really sure. Montezuma's Castle and Montezuma's Well are actually very easily accessible, as they're just off Highway 17 a little bit, which runs between Phoenix and Flagstaff. Now, Tuzigoot National Monument is a little bit beyond Cottonwood, so it takes a little bit more driving to get to, and Hananki Heritage Site actually takes a little bit of off-roading and is in the National Forest land outside of Sedona, so it takes a lot more effort to get to, but it offers a little bit more. Now, to site number one, Montezuma's Castle. You probably recognize Montezuma's Castle. You've probably seen pictures of it. It's this magnificent dwelling up high up in the cliffs, 5-story dwelling, multi-story, and I remember seeing pictures of this in my 5th grade textbook as you're learning about Native Americans and their history and their culture. It is a very well-known, highly photographed site. The cliff dwelling themselves are made of basically local rocks from the river, and then filled with mud mortar and sealed with mud plaster. That's how they were built. The local trees were mostly used to construct the walls and the ceilings, like the local sycamore. The location is right next to a river, which of course provides easy access to a water supply. But here, this was really fascinating to me. The south-facing direction of the cliff actually provides for heat during the winter, lets the sun in, but provides shade during the summer. Now that's pretty smart. When you visit this site, it is so easy to sit in awe and stare at the almost magical cliff dwelling. And just imagine yourself 900 years ago going about your life on a sunny day in the village. The site itself is not huge. It's actually pretty easy to walk. It's not very far from the parking lot. What the majority of people don't realize is there's actually a second cliff dwelling that's not part of the castle that you kind of think of when you think of Montezuma's Castle. It had another 10 rooms off to the left as you walk in. Are these rooms too?
All of these, and then, yeah. They would have gone up these, right? This looks like it probably had been some sort of stairs at one point. And then that's like level by level.
Now, to site number 2, Montezuma's Well. Now, Montezuma's Well is obviously a little less known than Montezuma's Castle and less photographed. However, it's not far up Highway 17, and if you're going to Montezuma's Castle, you may as well take the time to visit Montezuma's Well as well. This lesser-known site requires a little bit more walking, but it's really not that bad. It's about 1/3 of a mile, I believe it is. And to me, it was a lot more awe-inspiring because there are smaller cliff dwellings, but kind of above a small lake, or a large pond, if you will, or a well. Unfortunately, the water here has toxic levels of dissolved carbon monoxide, so normal lake life, like fish and frogs and such, cannot live and survive in the water. However, it also provides a unique environment that you don't find otherwhere because it doesn't have predators and such. So it is home to 5 unique species that don't live anywhere else in the world. Now that's pretty cool. It's at the bottom of the cliffs that you can really get up close to. And they actually go so deep into the cliff that from the trail, and you can't go in, but you can't see how far back they go. You just kind of see back into the darkness. And that was really cool. Because of the spring-fed well, there's actually 2 primary vents at the bottom of the well that feed this well, and it is constantly flowing. This site was considered a holy place of emergence for many of the historic tribes. Now on to site number 3. Tuzigoot National Monument. Unlike the cliff dwellings of Montezuma locations, Tuzigoot actually is a freestanding pueblo that they built up. It was multi-story, and they had ladders that would take them up to the 2nd level. Now, most of them are in ruins, so the ones that they've rebuilt, you can actually kind of see going in what it would be like, but some of this stuff is rebuilt and not the original stones and mortars and such, but it gives you a good idea of what the village was like. While Montezuma's Castle appears grander and more magnificent than maybe this freestanding pueblo, this actually housed a lot more of the Sinagua people because there were 110 rooms at this location. So it was a very large village back in the day when they actually inhabited these pueblos. Now on to site number 4, the Hananki Heritage Site. Now it takes some work to get to this site. It's near Sedona. You go up 89A towards Sedona, and then you gotta take forest roads. Now you could, of course, you could take a tour out there as well, and they'll drive you out in a 4x4. We went out in a stock SUV all-wheel drive, but most of the vehicles that went out that far into the forest land were 4x4 raised vehicles. So do what you will with that. But my SUV got there. I was felt pretty comfortable with it. This site includes a walking loop that takes you right up to the cliff dwellings, similar to that one at Montezumas Well. So but you get much closer than you do at Montezuma's Castle. Now, the one added benefit and the reason I wanted to put this site in for your consideration, even though it's harder to get to, it's less toured, but this site actually has original petroglyphs as you walk along the trail. So that is the one reason I would also recommend taking the time, if you have it, and getting out to Hananki Heritage Site. Now this video was meant to give you a glimpse into these sites open to the public, just to give you an idea and a little bit of learning. But by actually visiting the sites and the visitor centers, there is so much more to learn than I can accurately relay in one of my videos. So if you're going to be in the Sedona area, definitely consider adding some of these sites, depending on your length of trip, to your itinerary. If you enjoyed this content, please do hit the thumbs up. It does help the channel, and consider subscribing to the channel. Now, we are going to be putting out other content on Sedona because we've been here so much lately. So in case you're interested in Sedona-specific content, you also probably want to hit the alert bell so that you're alerted when we get those other videos. This is the first one of many. So you know when those videos come out, so you can help plan your trip or learn a little bit more about the Sedona area. Thank you for watching, and always remember, first and foremost, be a good human. Bye. Pippa, say bye. Say, be a good human. Pippa says, be a good human. Dallas says, be a good human. This is Land Cloud Adventures, and we are at Montezuma's... Damn it. You're watching Land Cloud Adventures. We are at Montezuma's Castle. You're watching Land Cloud Adventures. We are at Montezuma's Castle National Monument. Ha! Got it. Go. Boop. You're on camera, you know that?
Yeah, she says I love it.
Can I pet her?
Yeah, sure. She loves that.
Aww.